We are live.
Wonderful.
Yay.
I've just launched the poll.
Okay. Hello. Hello, welcome. This is Serge, Libro, and Krishna. Welcome you to the launch of Letter to My Little Queer Self. We're so pleased you could all join us tonight, and you will see our panelists for now, and they will be coming up in different clusters or groups throughout the evening, reading for us live, and some recordings.
Yeah, and we'd like to welcome Krishna, who's going to host the night and talk through the list of names of people that are going to be reading live, and also introducing the recordings of videos and voices that we've had presented to us from people that could not attend, that are also part of the collection. We have 29 contributors in the whole of the book, and we have 21 pieces of work tonight. And we hope you enjoy the evening with us.
Happy launch day. Quick visual description. I'm Indian, short dark hair, dark eyes. I've got silver hoop earrings on and a patterned shirt on. It's really exciting to be here, and thank you to Serge and Libro for, I mean, obviously the book, but also for bring us together. And I know it's probably a bit weird to do it over Zoom, but in a way I feel like it's better because, like you were saying, there's 29 contributors, and if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure it's across 6 countries in 4 different continents, and there's people from all over reading today, so you would have not had that if it wasn't online. So I think it's worked out for the better despite the pandemic. The book, for anyone that doesn't have the book yet, it's really sweet, and the stories will make you cry and will make you laugh and will make you want to cuddle for sure sometimes, or want to cuddle your younger self. And I feel like it's a reflection and celebration of the writers and who they've become, but also who they used to be. So it's very sweet. I won't chat on so that we can carry on, but just to say that we'll try and navigate through the readings, and hopefully there'll be time at the end for questions. Feel free to comment using the chat function, and if you've got any questions, use the Q&A function that's at the bottom. And if you want to ask an anonymous question, you can private message the panelists and we can ask your question for you anonymously. Also to say thank you to Lila, who's doing all the tech stuff that Libro, Serge, and I do not understand. So thank you, Lila, we appreciate it. Right, first up, we've got Phoebe Adams, Ivan Cartwright, Levi Appleton writing as Tom of Tottenham, Jonathan Kemp, and Denny Francis. Phoebe, take it away.
Thank you. My name is Phoebe Adams and my pronouns are she, her. For the audio description, I'm a young masculine woman. I have short black hair, brown eyes. I'm white Australian with pale olive toned skin, and I'm wearing round black glasses. I also want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which I'm speaking today, the Wadi Wadi people of the Dharawal Nation. I pay my respects to all elders past, present, and emerging. This is an excerpt from my piece, To My Little Dyke Self. You probably won't hear anyone call you a tomboy, but you pretty much fit the bill. There's grainy home video footage of you saying that you want to be Steve Irwin when you grow up. Your favorite thing to wear is your camouflage cargo pants or your overalls. They both have plenty of pockets to hold your binoculars, your magnifying glass, your survival manual, your compass, anything a girl could need during an expedition to the imagined wilderness in your backyard. If you're not outside, you'll be buzzing with impatience in front of the TV while one of your favorite VHS tapes rewinds back to the beginning. It's likely to be a musical. At 10, your obsession with Judy Garland could rival that of any 50-something-year-old gay man worth his salt. The Wizard of Oz was constantly in rotation. Hiding scared behind the couch while the Twister took Dorothy's house away was worth it to see her step into Technicolor, red hair and pouty lips gleaming under the studio lights. There were a few other favorites: The Sound of Music, Annie, Oklahoma, Calamity Jane, especially Calamity Jane. But you'd always stop watching when Doris Day changed out of her cowboy clothes, hung up her guns, and settled down with the broad-shouldered love interest by the end. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Ivan, Ivan Cartwright. I'm a 62-year-old gay man. I now identify as a man, but I have lived a certain part of my life as a trans woman, non-binary, when I was much younger. And I still work and do a drag show as Candy Floss, and prefer pronouns she when I'm dressed she and he when I'm dressed male. I'm 62, I have a grey beard, I'm wearing tortoiseshell glasses and a retro 70s lace floral shirt. This is a letter to myself at age 5. Dear Ivan, sometimes you are feeling hurt and confused by the other children at school telling you that you walk and talk like a girl. You know that they are being mean and cruel to you, saying it like it is a bad thing, something that you shouldn't do. I know you do walk and talk like a girl because you want to, because you like walking and talking like a girl, because you have chosen to walk and talk like a girl, because you wish with all your heart you were a girl, that you could have long hair, wear pretty dresses and shoes, and not have to take your vest off in PE, which you are adamantly refusing to do anyway. And quite right of you, because it is your body, after all, to display as much or as little of as and when you choose. You wish the boys would want to chase you in the playground too. Sometimes they do. They aren't always kind about doing it towards you. But it is okay for you to be this way. Though everyone around you seems to think it is very wrong and insists on telling you how wrong it is, apart from Catherine's mum, Mrs. Utley. It is okay for you to be this way. You know it is okay, and you are right. It is okay. The things people say to you are what is wrong, not the way you feel and the things you choose to do. All of that is okay. And you know this because you are very intelligent, a very intelligent little person. And you are right, it is okay. You are just being you, natural, normal, intelligent, creative, talented, sweet, funny, kind, friendly, and feminine. And it is okay. Carry on being you, Ivan. Never let anyone stop you being you. Anyone that tries to stop you being you, however they try to do it, is wrong. Not you. You are right. They are wrong. Right now, I know you feel very unloved by almost everyone in your life because of the cruel and bullying things they say and the horrible ways they treat you. But you are more lovable because you are you, not less. You deserve more love because you are you. You are beautiful, you are adorable, you are lovable beyond measure. You are loved. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Levi. I often write as Tom of Tottenham. I am a Black British trans masculine person. I have light brown skin, brown eyes, tattoos, glasses. I'm wearing a blue vest and a red hat and glasses. This is an excerpt from Dear Queer Little Me. You are so fucking brave. And you have such strength and power in you. Your ancestors were true survivors, and they passed this on to you. Remember, fight for yourself. And as much as you fight for others, be kind to yourself, please. Try to allow yourself to imagine what you want. Try to allow yourself to see all the things you do along the way. There will be times to feel anger, disappointment, sorrow, sadness, rage. It's hard, but these feelings are yours. They need no apology. You are going to be you, uniquely, magically, perfectly you.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Kemp. I'm a 54-year-old white British cis male, gay male from Manchester. I'm tall, lean, silver-haired with white facial hair. My pronouns are he and him. Listen, you may well be fucked up, but you'll never be as fucked up as the world that fucked you up. Trust me, you don't want to fit into such a fucked up world. It's much better for you to be excluded for your own sake, for your own safety, to occupy another space that only you occupy or can occupy. You'll be grateful for that other space one day. You'll treasure it and be glad, oh so glad that you have it. Any strength or value you have as a human being will be found here, located in the deep, cavernous gulf of non-identity, of not fitting in. There are such riches in that gulf, enough to keep you transfixed for years, reveling in the freedom your non-identical status so lovingly bestows. Such people, so blessed, can never be at peace, it's true, although there'll be peace enough in due time. For now, such adventures of the mind and body as will leave you reeling, wide-eyed and gleeful, fastened onto this life you now disparage, by a fascination I'm still incapable of fully comprehending.
Hi, I'm Denny Francis. My pronouns are she, her. I am light brown skinned. I'm Indian and Irish. I have long dark hair and brown eyes. I'm wearing a black dress and lipstick in a pinky red shade, which is called Rebel. Putting the femme into feminism. You dare to be a feminist and a femme, enraging and confusing some. Number one, buy those pink glitter stilettos. You'll wear them on a decade of pride marches and more. Strutting proudly, a fierce black lesbian feminist femme. No contradiction or confusion for you in those pink sparkling heels, giving the gorgeous drag queens a run for their money. 2, makeup, a journey. You'll wear it, not wear it, play with it, design with it, all for you. You wear your hair long and paint your lips red, defying white-centric images of what a lesbian looks like. Bouncer, do you know this is a gay club? You, yes, that's why I'm here. Studying feminism helps when the white lesbian feminists tell you can't be a feminist looking like that. You love a good debate. You will play Rowena in Masterpieces, that brilliant play by Sarah Daniels, and you'll think about these things. Thank you.
Not to be cheesy, but it feels really special to be able to hear the writers voice their own stories, because I feel like when I was reading this, I was imagining the people that I didn't know, and it's kind of amazing to see you come to life, which is also, I did forget to say that all the writers are reading extracts of their work, and it's not the entire story. So you're going to have to get this to be able to get the entire piece. Next, we've got Gulnoosh. Galnoush is a short Iranian woman with large dark eyes and short curly hair. It's a recording. Laila, are we ready for the recording?
Yes.
Cool, great.
Hi everyone, I'm just going to read the second paragraph of my piece from this beautiful little gem. And my piece is about a trauma that was a direct result of my queerness. And I haven't written much about it, so this is a little bit of an exception. You think you're trapped in Tehran. Just know these are some of the best years of your life, years that you will always be nostalgic for, years you'll never restore. You'll never be 20 again in Tehran's fabulous queer party, surrounded by other Iranian queers, drinking bad arak, feeling like you're in heaven, but in a wrong queer way, which makes it even better. You flirt with all the beautiful boys and powerful women who aren't your mother. You don't commit. You think you need to escape, and perhaps you do need to escape, but don't make your life hell. Count your privileges. Take a deep breath and enjoy this ephemeral glory. Make more art with your queer friends instead of getting too involved in the endless drama of their love lives. That's probably not your business. You might feel trapped in Tehran, fear and compulsory hijab, but you don't really get imprisoned until you make it to London.
Thank you, Galnoush. We're going to move on to cluster 2. We've called them clusters. Next, we've got Chrissy D. Hunter, Josh Wolford, Carla Icola, and Ursula Martinez.
Hi. For the description, I'm 58-year-old white trans femme from Yorkshire. I've got aquamarine hair, gold eyes and lipstick, and an orange, green and black animal print dress. Today, I sit here, hair blue, 7.5 lockdown kilograms heavier, a long time past the trauma and joy of my social and psychophysical transitions. Confidence in myself, not always confidence in the world. It is 42 years later. Often it has been a struggle. Sometimes it is still a struggle. I've traveled the world's obscure, difficult, occasionally inspirational, and frequently hostile and dull destinations. I have discovered that wherever you take yourself, old enemies still lie hooting within, as I wrote in a small scruffy town which challenged, freed and delighted me in 1996. I have ended up far closer to where I began than I ever thought I would. I have detoured, deflected, debauched, devoured and delayed, all unconsciously in the cause of survival. I have played the field of sexualities in misdirected self-exploration. I've tried on all the clothes, adopted ill-fitting mannerisms, failed to grasp fundamental truths. Happily, there are no fundamental truths. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Josh. I'm mixed Dominican English, have shaved head, and I'm wearing like a strappy black top. And I'm going to read you a part of one of my 2 short letters. This one is called Hey Young Me. I don't want to tell you how, if only you did this or did that things would have ended up the way they did. The fact of the matter is, we aren't always in control. It's not always our fault. And that's a hard wall to run into, face first, at 15. At 15, when we are invincible. At 15, when we sneak out for the weekend. At 15, when we are actually actively searching for pain, to find our boundaries, to squeeze out a sharp cry, a scream, a shout. It isn't your fault. But regardless of whose face we see there, where we point our finger, the fact of the matter is that we aren't always in control and that it still isn't your fault. And it's impressive how a culmination, a series of small events which foam and splash and form a peak in an instant, sudden yet so high, so sharp, so incredible, that even if you don't see it straight away, it will possibly never allow you to pass. That prick. I don't want to tell you how, if only you did this or did that, that things would have ended up any differently. I don't want to apply that pressure, not to you then, nor me now. But I would encourage you to value your body, take care of it, you're a team. Value your time, focus on what's really important. Procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. Value your friends, they'll be there for you and support you when you need it. Value your family, they all want to see you happy and will always support your decisions. Value yourself and all that surrounds you. I love you, Josh.
Hi, I'm Carla Ricola. I'm 35. I'm white, got blue hair, a grey flat cap, and a black t-shirt that says "Homeless Queer Started Our Revolution." My letter is to my 20-year-old self. You are far from powerless. You are still growing and gathering tools. Through all of this, your instincts will become faultless, and one day you will only share the company of kind, creative, and inspiring people. Together, you will create something strong enough to support 100 times the weight of your world at its heaviest. The way your mind works is different, but that will be recognized as a superpower one day. My mind still looks like a spider graph that gets bigger and bigger until I fall asleep. I jump out of bed early each morning to do something I am very passionate about until I am exhausted. Tidying my desk of empty water glasses, coffee cups, and moving paperwork into various trays seems to be the mark of a fresh day in this organized chaos. I'll speak to several people who are having the worst time of their life, and I'll find answers to questions I didn't know I could ask when I was your age. I can only apologize and forgive myself. Know that your future self and many others are fighting hard for you. You won't always feel alone. You have to love yourself before someone will love you is a terrible lie. Falling in love for the first time has changed my world forever, and we are on a wild journey to find the meaning of home and life together. We seem to be increasingly excited to know each other, and we find each other funny in a good way.
Ursula, can you turn your video on, please, so I can spotlight you? Thank you very much. You're on.
Oh, okay. My letter is called Dating Straighties. I spent a lot of my early leso years, late 80s and 90s, seducing and dating straight girls. Not only did it feel like a confirmation of my irresistible sex appeal, but as a young, unemployed, penniless, frustrated artist, it gave me the illusion of power by positioning me as teacher, expert, leader, liberator, maybe even savior. Yes, savior, exclamation mark. I was the leso superhero, altruistically saving straight girls from the repressions of heteronormativity. As I got older, I developed a career and gained some money, which brought me a new kind of status and power play. I could now throw money at a situation or boast the wisdom of years or provide a home and some security. So I didn't have to limit myself to saving straight girls from the missionary position. I could take on bigger, more important social causes like saving lesbians from alcohol addiction or abusive partners or mental illness or closeted homophobic self-loathing. And I never saw the pattern because my girlfriends were all so different in terms of age, culture, education, wealth, politics. But the pattern was that I always had to be saving them from something, or rather kidding myself that that's what I was doing. It fed an ego. it distracted me from acknowledging or dealing with any shortcomings in myself. It made me feel important and powerful, even if the power existed mainly in my head. And it's well known that behind a desire to feel big and important often lies a deep-rooted insecurity and low self-esteem. And it was no different from me. I had the deep-rooted subconscious belief that I could only be loved by somebody if I was helping or saving them. Otherwise, why would anyone be interested? So now I look back at the string of dysfunctional relationships that I co-created and the pathological disregard for self-care that went with them. And I can see that it all began with dating straighties. Of course it did. It's such an obvious and perfect starting point for failure. And that doesn't mean that we can never date a first timer, because we all have to start somewhere. Even I was once a novice for a well-oiled les. But if you find yourself in a pattern of dating straighties, it's probably not just a symptom of your irresistible arse, sexy swagger, or killer quaff. And if you've moved on from helping straight girls discover the joys of cunnilingus, and you're in a pattern of taking on bigger challenges or just challenges in general, I recommend A, finding a good therapist, and B, checking out Codependence Anonymous. That's what I did eventually. It worked wonders. Better late than never.
Thank you, Ursula. Would you like to describe yourself for the benefit of people who might be visually impaired, please?
Yes, I'm 54. I'm cis white female. I've got blonde/grey curly hair. I'm wearing a black shirt.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Us and Carla and Josh and Chrissy. It's funny because Libro and I are in the same house. They're upstairs in a different room and I'm downstairs, and I can hear them cackling and gasping at different points. It's like having a live audience, but one person above me. It's like God, I can hear the reactions. Next, we've got recording.
Sorry to interrupt. We've got a question from Manasi Arya, who said, should I raise my hand to recite?
I don't know. Is that a question for Libro and Serge? Doc, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, it's unmuted. Who's it from?
Manasi Arya. My apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name. It's in the Q&A, so you can type the answer.
No, it's not a name on our list.
No, it's not any of them. They're not in the collection, no.
Okay. I think people want to contribute. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not tonight. We've only got a short amount of time. Another time.
There will be, I guess there's time at the end for questions, but so they can ask questions that everyone else can answer, right? That's what's been...
Yeah, depending on how we're doing with the timing. But I think if people really want to share something and they feel really strongly about it, if we have the time, I don't know, Serge, Libro?
There'll be no reading of additional work, but there will be obviously things about tonight and the launch. That would be fine, and about the collection.
And
Perfect.
I guess if they did want to comment through the chat section, then Libro could read it out at some point.
Yeah, you can certainly do that. But just to echo what Serge said, we won't have enough time for people to present work that are not in the collection, not tonight.
But we do have a little survey at the end. So
Yeah.
if you have any suggestions for near future events, we welcome them.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Shall I carry on? I'm on the time.
Yeah, no, we're doing fine. We're doing fine.
Next, we've got a recording from Clayton Lilwood. Clayton is a cis gay silver daddy with white hair, a white beard, blue eyes, and a 1-pack instead of a 6-pack. Also, I should have said that the visual descriptions are written by the writers themselves. I'm not making that up. I do not know if Clayton has a 1-pack or a 6-pack. Lila, are we ready for...
Hi everyone, my name's Clayton Littlewood, and I have a short story appearing in this new book called Letter to My Little Queer Self. So I'm about to give you a 1-minute taster of my short story. And it starts, Dear Clay, I am coming to you from the future. To paraphrase a song the Pet Shop Boys will one day sing, I am a memory of the future. This is not a good time for you, I know. You are 14, confused. You have lost your confidence. You have been trying to convince yourself that your same-sex attraction is a phase. It's not. It is who you are, who you will always be. But don't despair. A time will come when you'll be thankful for this difference. You will grow into yourself. Other people's views will be of no consequence. Seems far-fetched, doesn't it? But it's true. Yes, you will face prejudice, but you will overcome it. Yes, you will have love in your life, but you will also lose it. You are going to experience many triumphs, and you are going to be felled by huge lows. There will be moments in your life when you feel you can't carry on. I am here to tell you that you will. Thank you.
Next, we've got Katie Baird, Chris Pauros, Julia Bell, and Fariel.
Katie, can you put your camera on, please? Yes, perfect.
Sorry, I was I was so engrossed in everything I didn't realise it was me. Hi everyone, I'm Katie. I am white, I'm 44, I've got brown hair, I've got my pal Catherine in the background. I'm wearing a Folkestone Pride t-shirt because we're in Folkestone and it's Pride. And I'm just going to do a wee extract of mine. Dear 15-year-old me, it's been a wee while since I saw you last and quite a lot has happened since then. I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but I do want to be honest with you because it may help us both in the long run. So here goes. In a few years from now, you will realise that you're not a lesbian and this will break your heart. Many years after this, you will find a new term that describes you so much better and you will embrace this and it will feel great because this word is not just about who you like to fuck, but how you think, feel and act within the world. One day you will fall in love and it will be magical. You have chosen your chosen family wisely. Well done. The beginning of your political awakening will be joyous for you, but quite tedious for your old friends who have to listen to all your newfound opinions. Have some patience with them. You will feel part of a movement. I really wish I could say that your anxieties lessen, but unfortunately that never quite happens, at least not yet. You will wonder if it's because of all the drugs and partying. You will wonder if it's because of your upbringing. You will wonder if it's because of your weight. You will always have to work hard to control them, but you know what? That's all right because they're part of who you are. Sometimes it will feel like the world is moving really fucking fast and you're continually having to question yourself and everything around you. This will be difficult, but it's really important. And finally, you're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun. There's going to be so much laughter, joy, and happiness ahead of you that I'm actually starting to feel a little jealous because we had a fucking good time. Enjoy it all because you totally deserve it. See you in the future, babes. Love, Katie. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Chris Pauros. I'm a British Cypriot. My pronouns are she, her. I've got shoulder length, straight dark brown hair, olive skin, black top and big black glasses. So this is my letter to my little or big queer self. Dear Chris, it's nice to be writing this because as a child, you're a reader. Immersing yourself in stories is an escape from a restricted upbringing in terms of gender expectations. And as much as you love stories and to continue to do so today, you were never much of a writer. Maybe you didn't want to give yourself the opportunity in case it opened something up that you knew wasn't going to be possible to explore. So to this end, and so you recognise yourself, this is less of a letter and more of a list of things I wish that little kid could have known. You're going to get out alive. You're not going to get any taller. and you're not as fat as everyone says you are, so try not to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. Stay solid about leaving home to go to university. It will change your life. Don't get angry about the aunties who call your mum suggesting nice young men you might like to meet. Make a joke of it. It's ridiculous and shouldn't be given any credence. It's definitely not worth your tears. Don't be afraid to lose contact with your immediate family. The wilderness years will be worth it because they'll understand at the end of it and you'll have stayed true to yourself. Your love of Spurs may wane a bit in your teenage years, but it becomes really important in your adult life in terms of identity, community, activism, and friendship. And it will also be a place that becomes yours and Monica's. And you'll meet and spend time with the likes of Ozzy Ardiles and Chris Hughton. In fact, although you don't play much football as an adult, back injury, sorry, running a lesbian football team will build friendships and kickstart your post-university activism. It's also where you meet Mon. So even though those first few sessions are scary, stick with it. Don't give in and tell more jokes.
Hello, everybody. I'm Julia Bell, and I'm a cis woman, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm 50, white, kind of feminine, with shoulder-length brown hair and glasses, and I'm wearing a blue denim shirt dress and a silver star-shaped necklace, and my lipstick is called after me. It's called Julia. And this is the beginning of my letter. Hey, you, it's future me, waving at you, past me. You're a long way off now in that drafty vicarage, a faded photo of a time that you once moved through. Such a big house. Your father always said you'd never be able to afford to live somewhere so big when you grew up. Maybe not, but your brother and sister proved him wrong. It came with his job, the old house with its wine cellar and stone pantry and tumbling stables, which were used by us for keeping chickens and rabbits and Christmas turkeys, which grew so big they wouldn't fit in the oven. A building from an old time where vicars rode horses to visit their flock, kept kitchen gardens. You have a permanent blush on your teenage face, so self-conscious you think sometimes you are almost naked. You have discovered that something called sex exists from looking at magazines in the newsagents. This has been quite recent and private discovery. You have become quite adept at sneaking the magazines off the shelves and hiding them inside copies of smash hits. There is one in particular that excites you, naked women on horseback, riding in the fresh air, something wild and free and inexplicably arousing. You are not quite sure if you want to be them or if you want to watch them. Perhaps both. Thank you.
Tariel, you're on.
Okay, hello. My name's Frayal. I am a British Pakistani cis woman. I've got jawline length black hair, mild acne, and brown lipstick. And this is my letter to my little queer self. If I could reach back across the years, I'd tell you this, that while you're sat on your bed on a Saturday night, eating samosas and reading Diva magazine, all the versions of you will collide at 100 miles per hour. Brace yourself. Coming out will measure 10 on the Richter scale. You'll sit with your ma in the front room and it will shake. There will be tears and heartache that you think will crush you. Her disappointment will fall from the ceiling like plaster, and you'll spend years dusting it from your body. But then, believe it or not, a day will come when you're sat again in the same front room. You'll sit with your ma, your partner, and your son and celebrate Eid. There'll be biryani, mithai, and roses that will fill the air with their sweet perfume. Her smile will fill every corner of your heart with a joy that you'll remember forever. My little queer self, if I could reach back across the years, I'd tell you this: be kind to yourself. You are a beautiful work in progress. Keep going. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie, Chris, Julia, and Fariel. Next, we've got a recording from Liz Rosenfeld. Liz Rosenfeld is a non-binary femme bear with long brown hair, blue eyes, and a 13-year-old stash and sideburns.
Today, you woke up and then an alarm went off. Your eyes opened before your body moved. Most mornings, waking up in your bedroom in Berlin, you gaze for a long time through the window at the rooftop across the street. Tagged on the side of the roof which faces your room in what seems like graffiti that will never fade is meticulously spray painted life. You always think the same thing. Is this the first message you will receive every day forever? And today, as you thought just this, your alarm went off. It is not an alarm, but a reminder. A reminder you had set yourself a year ago today, May 11th, 2019. The reminder was blank, but you had set the color to flash in red. You are pretty sure this is the only time in your life that you set yourself a reminder and didn't specify why.
Thank you, Liz. Our next cluster is the last cluster. So if anyone has any questions and you want to send it through, probably a good time to send it because then we could do the questions after. Next, we've got Megan Key, Ree, that the story is written by Ree, but is being read by a guest performer, Nadia, Serge Nicholson. Then we've got a recording by Nanda Messias, and then we'll finish off with Zara Stardust. Megan, you good to go?
All good.
Great.
Hi, so my name's Megan. I'm white British. I'm 46. I've got a red Air Jordan cap on, massive grey glasses, and a white vest. So this is an extract from my letter to myself, and it's been a big journey, so I wrote it by age. So 23. Okay. So it's not going quite to plan. Socialising is fun, making new friends is cute, and the music, well, the music, it's spiritual. The dance floor is where you found yourself. But ouch, it's painful because surrounded by queer people, beautiful women, and too many substances, you're beginning to realise who you are. The therapist helped you understand you are trans. I know it's a shock and you want to fit in, but one day I promise you'll be so happy you don't. You think no one will love you, people will laugh at you. The shame is unbearable, but hold on, because life will be beautiful. You are so lovable, you just don't know it. 35. Don't worry, you'll make it. The anxiety, the depression, it will pass. It will take a while, maybe years, but you'll make it. The good thing about having a nervous breakdown is that you learn a lot about yourself. You've managed dysphoria for over 15 years and you're still here. It was bound to floor you sooner or later. And now freedom is waiting. You won't believe how good you're going to feel. Thanks.
Hi, my audio description. I'm a middle-aged, brown-skinned, Indian origin cis woman with short hair and glasses. And this is an extract from a letter to Ree. Well, you queer, funny-looking immigrant, here are some top tips. 1. Get away from your parents as fast as you can. Despite leaving home physically, because you started kissing your female boss in the toilets, and you didn't think this was a sustainable lifestyle while living at home, you didn't leave home mentally until decades later. What you learned from your migrant parents was to work harder than your white peers and save money. So you mostly had security, apart from those times you were broke. and homeless. But what you didn't invest in, namely love and creativity, will haunt you. So get more involved and invested in these things. They will always be more important than money. So hold on to the values that serve you, but identify really quickly the things that do not and let them go. If this was a school report, you'd probably get an A for effort, but B- for sorting yourself out. So queer and immigrant, yes, and proud of both, and starting to feel a little less funny looking. Thank you.
Hello. Serge Nicholson here, and I'm a white trans punk elder with a shaved head, big glasses, amber eyes, and a Roman Celt nose, trans scars and tattoos. I'm wearing a white t-shirt with black pattern, and my pronouns are he and they. Right, to the boy in the dress shop. I, of course, remember you happily rearranging all the stocking packets to your taste. You played with your stocking collection for hours, quietly absorbed behind the jumble of out-of-fashion stock, dresses, coats, cardigans, garter belts, piled high in the back room of Grandma Oben's tiny shop, with the old wooden display cabinets, glass-fronted countertops, and discarded stock racks. Grandma out the front, talking with her women customers or pals, without ever much opening of the till drawer. You'd have been 6 in 1964 when your hobby began, old enough to be left to your own devices. You would sort the nylon packets into the best images, no longer grouped together by brand or denier, but by your appreciation of fine, long-legged attributes. Black and white photographs more pleasing than the line drawings. Pleasure taken. Curiosity for the accentuated, long pointed stocking leg, often cropped, disconnected from a whole body, stylish, unlike anything you had ever set eyes on in day-to-day life. You had no words to express what it was that drew you in your little queer world, just a boy playing shop. It was one of your happiest times and places before it got harder. You had escaped the pressure of girl-boy gender norms to some extent with sun-worshipping Steiner Primary, an only child then with young art school parents. At this point, you were sporting a pudding bowl cut fringe, a tartan kilt skirt and jumper, and knee socks look. You did not feel too self-conscious. This was to come.
Thank you. We now have a recording of Nando's, who's doing the introduction. Are you, Serge?
It's in the video or in the recording.
I'm Nando Messias. I'm a trans non-binary queer performance artist. To the boy with the melancholy eyes, to my little queer self, querido Nandinho, your photograph brings me so many memories. Too timid to climb trees like the others, too scared of the dogs to visit family. You hide under the table at your parents' parties. The real world is too much for you. You create your own. You're unique, baffling your parents, although they love you. Others won't see how your difference is no obstacle, how strong it makes you. When it gets too much, and oh, how it will get too much. I wish you would remember that safety under the table. It is within you. Find it. Don't kill off your blissful extravagance. It doesn't work. You need to be louder, prouder, fiercer. The world will take pleasure in your courage. Make those heels higher. Pile on more makeup. Have a trail of overpowering perfume. Sway those hips more joyfully. Be yourself. You will find allies. When older, looking back on your life, you will be proudest of your moments of resilience. Shall I tell you your future? Would you believe me? Would it help? One thing, learn English. You'll feel less trapped in that country. You'll feel freer. You will have words like queer, words that understand you, sort of. And you will find love. You will discover a woman, a dancer, called Martha Graham. She will speak to you these words. There is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and will be lost. This is your work in life. It's hard, but it's good work. It's painful, but it's worthwhile. Te amo. Saudades. Beijos, Nando. P.S. I've not forgotten you.
Hi, I'm Zara Stardust. I'm a white queer femme in my 30s. I have long lilac hair. It's usually pink. I have pink glasses, pink eyebrows, pink and black neck tattoos, stretched ears, green eyes, and an aqua fur coat. And underneath, I'm actually wearing my pajamas, which is a pink onesie with panda bears on it, which I found at an op shop last week. And I'm tuning in from the land of the Turrbal and the Yugara people, which is unceded Aboriginal land, also known as Brisbane, Australia. And this is an excerpt from my letter to a tomboy femme. Your body is a canvas for outrageous queer fashion. Don't wait so long to bleach your eyebrows. Sew your own clothes because the outfits you will want to wear don't exist yet. Slut shaming is predictable and it's ineffective. Unlearn everything you know about sex and relearn it in the bodies of queer lovers. There is such thing as fisting, and it is just as mind-blowing and life-changing as it sounds. Get a Hitachi and share it with all of your friends. Have torrid love affairs, whirlwind romances, and polytriads, but don't take relationships for granted. Whoring is dignified work, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Sex work will teach you more about the world than any other job you do. It also comes with very handy life skills. Heterosexuals are jealous of queer culture. You don't owe anybody a coming out story. Soon enough, you will start to feel sorry for heterosexual people and their bizarre beige lives. Queer femininity is armor. Match your lipstick to your ankle boots and make sure you know how to handle a drill. Open jars for lovers. They will find it sexy. Understand your privilege and use it actively. Find your role in social movements. Don't become a pawn in the system. Eat more leafy greens. Have a skincare regime. Remember people's birthdays. Collect books to attract other sapiosexuals into your life. Everybody falls in love with their counselor, just don't become a stalker. Be less productive, take more drugs, rest is radical. Never use more than 20 volume developer or home bleach jobs. Don't use silicone lube when you're stretching your ears. And remember that pink and orange always go together. Thank you.
Thanks all for your beautiful readings of your letters. And yes, pink and orange do go together. And very good point. I should remember to eat my greens and keep up on skincare. This is very helpful. Thank you. Good reminders. What would you like to do a Q&A now? Serge, Libra, and everyone else. Also, before we do that, just to say that if the audience has liked what you've heard today, those are just little tasters of entire letters that all the writers have written and contributed. So you should get one of these books on the website, hotpencilpress.co.uk. That's my sad attempt at a sales pitch. You're welcome, Surgeon Libra.
Very good, very good, very good. Yeah, we've got, people are buying books as the event's been on, which is great. And yeah, just reiterating what Krishna said, people have given short excerpts. So, I mean, all the fantastic work that you've heard tonight, you can explore in full in book form. But I just also want to echo what Krishna said, it's amazing to hear the writers actually present their own work. It's completely mind-blowing. I've been laughing my head off and I've had a few tears and stuff.
You have, I can hear you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Before we go on, I would like to just acknowledge the writers of letters who are not here live and in recordings. So if it's okay, I'm just going to say who's not here tonight but is in the book. So we have in the collection, we would also have Meg John Barker, Sarah Jane Moon, Toby Reynolds, Sadie Lee, H. Howitt, Grant Heaps, Hot Trans Guy, and Lola Flash. Who are not here with us tonight, but you'll find them in the collection.
All right. There is a question, a practical question. Will there be ebooks of the books soon?
We hadn't actually thought of that, but yeah, that's quite a good idea. We can do that. Yeah, I guess we can move on to doing that. If that's helpful for people, yeah. We hadn't really thought about that. Because we've done a couple of collection prior and we had them printed out. So we kind of moved to have it in print form. Some people are very attached to having something physical in their hands. So Serge and I kind of push forward on that. But that's a really nice question. Yeah, I think we can do that, can't we, Serge? Yes. In a word, yeah, that can be organized.
Are there more questions? There is a question. Oh, not a question, just to say powerful presentations and so very emotive. Thank you. From Ellie.
And yes, it was a little bit that we had to imagine the audience tonight rather than see you all and hear you all. But I think I could hear you all across London and the world, or imagine you there.
That's so sweet, Serge. Adorable. Are there more questions? No, someone said we clapped throughout.
Ah, okay. Somebody asked a little bit earlier if we could make it into a TV show or something. I thought that was quite good. I don't know how we do that quite. But yeah, people have been commenting throughout the night, actually. I'll just read out a few that came in. I mean, Ben Ganley's just said, imagine hearing this or watching this as a 14-year-old queer. So I think that was one of the ideas that we had when we sort of invited people to write to themselves is, you know, what have you kind of missed out on and what kind of potentially would you like to pass forward or pass back to yourself? So I think that's probably quite a relatable idea. H. Howitt is also part of this collection, so thank you, darlings. It was wonderful to hear from you all. What a beautiful thing that's made. Yes, I love having something physical in my hands. Thanks for that, H. That's
Hi, H.
There's a question from Mari to Serge. Why did you look to write to your younger self?
Yeah, I think, Myri, it was also, for me, an integration of that the boy was always there. So the boy, in terms of not denying that the boy was there when I was very small, and the boy was put away for quite a few decades. And so it felt very important to bring them back and to integrate them with who I am now and who I was in between. Thank you, Myri.
There's 2 questions. I love you all for your bravery, honesty, and how open you are. First question, how can I be a more proactive ally? Oh, at the top of the message, it said that the person is white, cisgendered, male ally here. First question is, how can I be a more proactive ally? And the second question is, have you thought about making this into a podcast?
We hadn't thought about a podcast either, but I think that's also a really brilliant idea. Yeah, what do you think, Serge?
Yeah, and I'm thinking more about the allyship. I think there's allyship in just being an audience member, a reader, encouraging the book to be passed around with friends. And I think allyship can be in small little ways, as well as in the workplace and, you know, in supporting friends. But yes, you know, I think it can be also in supporting the arts.
The same person whose name I'm not sure because it says ASD has said I can help you with that. So I'm assuming it's in making the podcast.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. You should get in touch. What's your email address?
And would any of the other panelists like to unmute? If any panelists want to unmute and speak or say anything, they're most welcome to.
There's a question from Zara to Libro and Serge. What prompted you both to put this collection together? How did the journey begin? Perhaps you can share a bit about your process and initial thinking ideas.
Yeah, thanks, Zara. I think it was sort of pandemic and everybody was stuck at home, and Serge and I were thinking to do another collection. And our previous collections, we've taken interviews and recordings from members of different communities. We did a piece called "There Is No Word for It" from the trans masculine community. And then we followed that up with a collection, the Butch Monologues. So we were thinking about doing a third collection, not sure what that would entail. And it was pandemic, and we wondered whether it was a possibility because people were sort of making jigsaws and sourdough bread. And we just thought maybe a letter writing collection would be a nice kind of way to take up that space, really. And instead of us taking interviews, to actually ask people to physically write letters. And so we sent out invitations to people to do that, and I think Serge and I were really surprised. People were just completely up for it, and we held back. Actually, we didn't really tell you who else we were approaching to give a letter, and we kind of really enjoyed that. So when we kind of published the work and we got the work out and sent you a copy, people didn't realize who else was involved in it, and I think that was kind of quite a nice surprise. And it came together really quickly, didn't it, Serge? People kind of just leapt on it.
Yeah, and it was. It just seemed that the timing was right for people to write this type of letter, reviewing their past life, where they are. A lot of people were doing that, whether it's in therapy or in a paused moment. So yeah, it seemed a significant time. And we're known to do collections of work with people writing their own stories for our collection. So it was a continuation of our past collections the Hot Pencil Press have done in terms of different voices, marginalized voices, you know, as well as you know, these stories that need to be told, you know.
And we also kind of mindful to get a spectrum of queer, like to get lots of different viewpoints and takes and IDs. That was really important to us. So, and not necessarily people that were writers that were kind of sitting there and felt so that also we, you know, we kind of wanted to push a line on that as well. But I think also we're really delighted. We kind of left the brief quite broad, and then everybody kind of went in their own direction, and we kind of felt that the queers had queered the queer letter, and that to us was also really exciting. Thanks for the question. Yeah, does anybody else? Oh, hang on, we've got 2 more in the box, haven't we? Oh, Charlotte, who's that?
I guess if you've got your hand up, I'm not sure what that means, but you might have to put it into the Q&A box or into the chat.
Sometimes people just say hello and they raise their hand.
Miss Press.
Great.
But if you're trying to locate people and you've got hundreds, if they raise their hand, you can just clearly identify them straight away.
Yeah, Charlotte said it was a mispressed button. Thank you, Charlotte.
We've got a couple of comments from Chai. It may be good that others write to someone else's at the age they have written with an intersectional approach, as in write to the part of their identity with most. Not sure what they mean.
Where is it? In the Q&A, is it? All right. Maybe good others write to someone else's age that they have written an intersectional approach. They identify with most.
I've got a question for any of the contributors that want to answer it. I wondered what the process was like for you to write it. Was it quite, I can imagine, depending on who you are and what age you were writing to, that it could have been different. If anyone wants to answer that.
I think I'll jump in here.
Great.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason I chose the age was it was like quite a, I suppose, like defining and traumatic experience that I was kind of, I'm constantly reliving and revisiting, but I'm never really addressing. So I really used this opportunity to, I'd registered for like a specific therapy group to deal with it. And at the same time, this invitation came through and I was like, okay, this sounds like a really good, gentle introduction where I can kind of decide how much I venture into it and how much I don't. So it was quite difficult to write and to read, even though it's very vague and quite abstract, because I knew exactly what it was I was talking about. But yeah, it was like a very strong, powerful moment in time, in our collective time, to write and to be asked to write such a letter. So I'm like very grateful for that invitation.
Thanks, Josh.
I'd like to follow on from Josh. That was beautiful, Josh. In terms, it was really similar for me in the sense of I'm used as an actor to interpreting other people's words and emotions, and obviously using my own experiences. But to write this, it really threw things up in the air for me, and lots of things I cut that weren't in there. And thank you, Libra, you were fantastic, sort of talking me through some of that. And when I made that decision, then it was really freeing, and it was really scary, and I felt almost sick when I saw it finally written. It was so freeing and liberating, and I felt like I owed it to that young girl. So thank you for the opportunity.
I think Daniel, you said you were working on it prior, like for a different thing. It was kind of like like you already had stuff that you were kind of working on, and then able to sort of cut and paste and move things around. And so I don't know how, if other people were also sort of working on different ideas and then found this was a kind of a way to move stuff into the letter, really. So it's a timing thing as well, I think, for you.
Very much so. Very
yeah.
serendipitous in that sense.
Yeah, totally. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I was working on a much longer piece of writing that I've self-published, and then this opportunity came along, and I was able to address in this letter the child, and I'd been working with children of 5, slightly younger actually, at the time, and so it was very easy for me to just write a letter that I knew. Alexa's going to interrupt me. God, I hate Alexa. She always does that. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, I wanted to write to the child because I felt that child had been ignored for, wow, like 55 years. Actually longer, because I'm 62. So I really was writing to me at 5. And that little boy has been not acknowledged for 57 years. So it was, it was easy, but it was very intense, but it was very beautiful. And I think that's what I noticed about this evening, that, the stories are very, very beautiful. And I know they've come from a lot of pain. And, what is it? Someone says, sweet water from foul wells can flow. That's probably a bit melodramatic, but then I am a drag queen. But I think you probably know what I mean.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I think you said something earlier, Ivan, that you felt there was lots of different perspectives, but people were kind of exploring, like there were so many ways that the stories intersected as well. And I think I kind of agreed with that.
Yeah, I think there's
coming from different places, but also experiencing the same kinds of things. So I thought that was a really nice way of kind of responding to it.
Yeah, I mean, and I really liked hearing from, gay women of color, because, these, I don't meet gay women of color, and it's just fantastic, to hear that voice, and, really, I mean, okay, I'm a white, middle-aged, middle-class, kind of out gay man. It's not, it's not like I'm invisible in the world, my who I am is very visible in the world. But gay women of color, from different religious backgrounds, it's not, these voices are not seen and not heard. And it's fascinating to see, and fascinating to see the similarity of experience to my own. There's a real communality and a common thread.
Yeah.
We have a few questions. We have from Mandu Reed. I'm interested to hear from any of the contributors what queer identity means to them and why it resonates. If anyone freedom. For me, I think it would also the recognition that queer children exist, that you could be queer from the minute you start to have queer thinking, that you could be queer at your very, very small little self. I believe that.
Serge, we've got 3 other panelists with their hand up, and Pam D say, why was it important for you to be part of this project and what impact has it had on you, to all the panelists? I'm not sure whether we'll have the time to have all the panelists answer, so people can type the question. Megan, you've had your hand up for quite a while.
Yeah, thanks. I guess I just wanted to come back to this thing about what made you get involved, and why did you write a letter to your younger self? I suppose, you know, I've been through a lot of trauma. I've had around 10 years of therapy. I've had a nervous breakdown, drug problems, all kinds of stuff go on. And I don't think at any other point in my life that I would have been in a fit state to write a letter to my younger self. It's only now at the age of 46 that I feel that I've done some healing and I've come out the other side of it, you know. I felt for, you know, took me 15 years to come out publicly. I was, you know, I knew I was trans in my late teens, but I held it to myself till I was 35, and that ended up in a breakdown. And it took me a long time to get over that and heal. So now feels like the perfect time to write that letter, because I'm a survivor and I'm thriving, and I'm very proud to be queer. So thanks, Serge and Libro, for giving me the opportunity to contribute. Very grateful.
Sarah?
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Yes, I wanted to add something, but I think that actually Tom had their hand up first, and I don't want to jump the queue.
That's very kind, thank you. I mean, I think it's slightly just been said by Megan. I really appreciated the invitation to talk to that younger part of myself, that trans little me, who in all of the being trans might have got a little lost along the way. And it was really a generous invitation, I think, and a lovely opportunity to see myself before transphobia from others or myself, or before other kinds of negative experiences that might have shaped me, but to talk to me back then. And then I think importantly, remember who I was back then. And I think that was a lovely piece of time travel. So I really appreciated that part of the project too. Thank you.
Cheers, Levi.
I wanted to just say that I was so grateful to get the invite to contribute to this, and it was a really cathartic process for me. And I do a lot of other writing, like I do a lot of kind of more policy or academic writing, and I was really desperate to write again in a creative way, and it was just the most fantastic opportunity to sit down and kind of write something beautiful and write something heartfelt. And during my piece today, I kind of picked out all the fun bits, but actually during writing the story, like it was quite confronting. I, you know, was going back through different parts of my life and experiences of violence, and also places where I had fucked up, and then thinking about my relationships to work and privilege and the state and all kinds of things. And it was just, it was a really useful and productive opportunity to reflect, and it was quite a healing process. So I feel really grateful to have had the opportunity. Thanks so much for inviting us.
Carla?
Hi. Yeah, just to answer the same question of like why I got involved, I think it was the second lockdown, and Lake and I, like my partner and I, we lived at the shelter. So we run a homeless shelter here in London for LGBTIQ plus people. And just wildly, it just happened to be like a lot of young people in the space at the time. We're not a youth service, it just happened to be quite a lot of young people. And it was like we were living with them because of lockdown, and they were having like no contact with anyone else. And we were having obviously like 24-hour contact with them. So it really felt like just this kind of like intense queer family sort of time. And I felt as well as that, I was just having therapy myself because of the situation, because of work. So it just seemed like a really good time to kind of have that reflection on my younger self, and to be able to speak to that, similar to, as Megan said, like kind of difficult times, probably wouldn't have been able to have written that kind of, or really considered or had that reflection. So it's just, I think it was just good timing, and I felt like it would be something that was useful for the younger people in the shelter and the centre. Not really expecting it to be useful for me, but it was. So thank you for asking me to contribute. And it's been really beautiful to listen to you all after reading all of your writing as well. So it's nice to meet you all and be part of this kind of like weird little community that Libro and Serge have now created for us, which is nice. Have a good evening.
Cheers, Carla. Cheers. I think as well, I think Serge and I mean, you know, as people are talking now, we were just really astonished, like, you know, the sort of the levels of detail and intimacy that people were sharing about their lives, you know, and we felt that that was something that really shocked and moved us. So we'd like to sort of extend thanks back for, you know, to you for giving us this opportunity to kind of record your testimonies in such a way. And without the detail of your stories, we wouldn't have the depth and richness of the collection. So a big thank you from us.
Yes, and we'd like to also say thank you to our amazing designers as well that work with us so smoothly, and the easiest design process that I've ever come across. And so that was a really, really wonderful experience that I could recommend again. So that was Samantha Wetton and Flaminia Rossi, a design print bind. They were a joy to work with. And we're moving towards the last 5 minutes, 6 minutes of our time together. And Krishna, help us round up.
Thanks to everyone. We are almost, I honestly don't know how to round this up. But yeah, thanks to everyone, the audience and the contributors, and for reading your work. And to Serge and Libro and Lila, thank you for doing all of your amazing tech stuff. Is there anything else you want to add, Libro and Serge?
Yeah, I mean, I just think Serge and I were just completely blown away, really, by the process and by having, you know, all of you kind of, you know, gift your stories and then the process of putting the book together with Design Print Bind. As Serge said, they were amazing, and we were a little bit sort of chaotic at the beginning, but they sort of held us in that space. And then Lila coming in and organizing this for us has been fantastic. Krishna, you know, has this misfortune of living with me, so kind of felt a bit of pressure also to run and host the evening, but of course,
yeah, I couldn't pretend to have COVID or something.
Yeah, exactly. That was never going to work. That was never going to work. So thanks, Paps, for stepping in. And yeah, it's been really amazing just to see all your faces and hear the testimonies. Obviously, Serge and I in real life would have loved to have held an event, but you know, such are these times. So we'll see how we go. I think that's one of the questions in the survey we had, wasn't it, Lila, whether you'd like to be involved if we do a sort of a future iteration of this in some shape or form. So we keep you posted. Obviously, there have been ideas about podcasts and all sorts of things. So we just keep you posted and keep the conversation going in terms of facilitating other pathways for the work.
Thank you. There's a question about the recording. Will the recording be available anywhere?
Yes.
Yes. So everyone who's registered for the event will be sent the link to the recording. I think the website for Hot Pencil Press was designed by Zed Gregory. They're in the audience. Can we also acknowledge them, because I think they're a phenomenal designer. So thank you, Zed. There you go.
Thanks for that, Lila. Zed, They, Them Studio is the kind of the brains and the design behind the website, which is sort of user friendly. The first time we've ever done a website like this, where you've kind of got a button where you can buy a book. So thanks for that, Zed. And thanks also for the reminder, Lila. Thank you.
All right.
It's been a phenomenal evening of international get together, and I am bowled over. I'm nearly struck dumb here, but it was just so moving, and the excerpts taken from the whole letter, they were just powerful moments from a longer piece, and they still hit hard, I felt. Yes. And the connections between us all.
Yeah.
So thank you. I can see people have already completing the survey, which is phenomenal. So you will get it when you log off. Unless anyone has anything else to say, I think we're going to draw this event to a close. It's been really inspirational for me. And as Krishna was saying, there's something really powerful about hearing people in their own voice rather than reading the words. Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much.
Everyone.
Thanks everyone. For those in Australia, go back to bed. Back to bed.
What time is it? 5 a.m? 4 a.m. Is it different between? Because
it's 6:30 a.m. where I am.
Oh, okay.
We started at 5 a.m. Yeah. The sun will be up.
On you for being up at that time.
Yes. Thanks, Zara. And Phoebe, if Phoebe's still around.
And thank you to all of our panelists, contributors, and recorded artists, and to our audience tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight. It was great to have you. Sorry we couldn't see and hear you as well.
I mean, we've got a few minutes. I mean, if anybody wanted to come and talk, I'm happy to bring people up if you wanted. Serge, Libro.
What are your feelings? If people want to carry on.
Got time for a quick one.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to come up on stage, Sadie, you're featured in the book if you wanted to come up and say hi. Or anybody else, actually, before we close this webinar.
No pressure, just because the name said.
We've got a lot of really, really lovely comments in the chat. Everyone loved it, same in the survey. Okay, shall we draw it to a close then? Perfect timing.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you for your words. Have a good night, have a good morning, have a good day.
Thank you everyone. Thank you to all our readers.
Bye guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Krishna, I'll see you in the kitchen.
We love you, Serge.
Bye guys.
Love you all.